Now you know the travails of Rex Damschroeder, the veteran lawmaker not able to seek re-election after failing to sign some nominating petitions. Previously in this program, we met Bill Reineke, who won the Republican primary with a write-in victory. Today, his Democratic opponent, Bill Young, joining me at the leading edge table. He, too, won a write-in effort. In fact, let's start there. If we can, Mr. Young, as we welcome you in. You've run for elective office before. It would seem that you were going to sit this one out until the Damschroeder snafu. Is that correct?
That's exactly right, Jerry. I love politics. I love teaching more. I'm a professional teacher.
I didn't give him the full introduction.
We've got to do that. 38 years of teaching, great kids, great parents. Ohio Social Studies Teacher of the Year, Northwest Ohio Teacher of the Year.
I read that.
So this to me is an opportunity to take what I learned in the classroom, what I did with children, to do for all the adults. And so what happened was, as you mentioned, when this error happened by Mr. Damschroeder, I had decided to sit this one out. You're exactly right. But I think we've got to go back for a second to 2010.
Yeah, you lost the Democratic primary. Close race to an endorsed Democrat. You've probably heard of Ben Nutter. He's was a county commissioner down there in Seneca County. And then you lost head-to-head to Mr. Damschroeder, but in a very respectable running 2 years ago. Along the way, you learned it takes a boatload of money to run these campaigns.
That's exactly right, Jerry. When I first decided to run, I was still teaching. And I had a friend who actually gave me a copy of John Kasich's book, Stand for Something. And she said, you like politics? You're a Christian? You're going to love this book. Well, I read the book, and there was a lot of good things that were in it, I'll be honest with you. But I got to the part about John Kasich saying that Ohio's, or actually the nation's, public schools are broken and cannot be fixed. And that was where I decided I want to do something about it. So I actually kind of foresaw Senate Bill 5. I was kind of the person who saw this was going to happen, which is why I ran. But as far as this term, as you asked about, we had talked to a lot of people in the State House, and they put a pretty high dollar figure on what it would take to take out a pretty powerful incumbent like Rex Damschroeder. And fundraising is the worst part of this whole process. And what happened was we decided not to do it. Now, Rex made the error, which was unfortunate, obviously. He's a good state representative, and it was kind of sad to him what happened. But my opponent then now jumped right in, said he was going to be running, and I still held off. I wasn't sure whether I wanted to try to get in this, but we had met Ed Fitzgerald at a fundraiser in Fostoria.
Democratic candidate, governor.
Exactly.
Cuyahoga County executive. Go ahead.
Right, and he really said, I want you to be on my team.
Good buddy says Mr. Reineke will have a lot more money than you to spend. You'd agree with that?
There's no doubt about that, Jerry.
How are you going to counter that?
Well, we have a great grassroots effort. We have so many people that are out working for us. It's overwhelming to me when how blessed I am to have all these hardworking people that believe in the message that I have. And we're going to try our best to get that out to everyone. What
has this state, let's get to know how Bill Young, if he's down there in Columbus, might vote on some things. What has this state legislature done that you wouldn't have? All right, let's do some key votes. Senate Bill 5, State Issue 2, that's clear. That was a key issue for you.
That was a key issue, obviously. Yeah.
As a teacher, you totally opposed SB 5.
Right. And having so many friends in the police department and in the fire department, it just was something that I thought was wrong, the way it was handled. They could have done some things a little differently and not been so aggressive that maybe the public went along with.
Oh, they could have. No, they could have sold pieces of that. There's no doubt. We talked about that big time on the show.
Right.
It was an overreach. Well, let's not rehash that. They got spanked.
Right.
Where do you stand on Common Core?
This is something I get asked about a lot. And
well, you're a teacher.
I'm a teacher, so people, they want to know. And this question needed to be asked 5 years ago. When it first came around, when the schools started preparing for Common Core, and they're buying the new textbooks, they're training the teachers, they're getting the computers, which are going to be required because all these tests have to be online. I think we're a little late to the party now to start criticizing it. Now, my personal opinion with Common Core is what it was 5 years ago when I was still teaching. Too much emphasis on standardized tests.
We test kids a lot.
We test them way too often, Jerry, and that's my issue with Common Core.
But where we are now, because there's some effort, as you know, there's talk about on the R side down there in Columbus about repealing this thing. If you're down there in Columbus, you would vote against rescinding Common Core.
I think we have some really wonderful teachers that are now trained to do this. They're trained to do this, and I don't
should let them do it.
Yeah, I mean, the idea of the difference in education right now, we have to start thinking beyond where we're at, because we mentioned the failure to kids in college. In the last 2 decades, 31 million kids going to college that don't get a degree. 10 million of them don't even get through the first semester usually. We've got to rethink education in general. is what we have to do.
You are troubled by, our time is so short already. You're troubled by the charter school movement system in Ohio.
Yeah, I think we've gone way too far. I mean, we were putting charter schools that open without any textbooks, some without any toilets. I mean, there's rush to change school choice, and I'm very concerned about it. We have right now what's going on with the Akron Beacon Journal's investigative report on the Turkish charter schools that are opening up, where we have an operator who's brought in hundreds of teachers, some barely speaking English, to teach school because he claims there's not enough qualified math and science teachers in the state of Ohio.
Should the minimum wage be increased in Ohio?
I do think it should be, Jerry. I think the minimum wage is something we have to look at. For the working class people to try to exist on minimum wage, $17,000 a year, working 40 hours a week, you just can't do it. You can't buy the goods. To me, if we increase the minimum wage, there's going to be more consumers. They're going to be buying more things because they'll have more money power, more spending power.
Keep talking about teacher. He's a retired teacher.
Yes.
Will you be a full-time state lawmaker?
Full-time state lawmaker.
And you're making that an issue vis-a-vis Mr. Reineke.
Yes, I am, Jerry, because if you read the job description on the House website, when you're not in Columbus, you need to be basically everywhere. They talk about all the places you should be at to find out what's on the money representatives. Yeah. I promise to, as I tell the people I talk to, I will wake up every day and say, what can I do? What is best for the constituents of this district? And that will be my number one concern. I truly care about people. Anybody who knows me knows I care about
We're going to go. You would debate Mr. Reineke? How about a joint appearance here on Leading Edge?
I would love to do that.
The correct answer is yes.
The correct answer is yes, because in June, I actually invited Mr. Reineke to a series of nonpartisan debates.
We'll make it happen by the fall. I got to get going.
I appreciate that.
He's Bill Young. He's Democrat, Ohio House District 88, Sandusky County, good portion of Seneca. The choice is yours come November. Mr. Young, thanks for devoting an award-winning career to education, first of all, and also keeping my viewers on the leading edge in this key race.
Thank you, Jerry. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Well, they have been helping